the offensive line. I guess, what has he meant to this program, this position group, and for you as a coach, like to install your culture and values? Like, how's he done with that?
Just like you say, break the rock. He's been a rock for us, man. He came into a situation that wasn't ideal. He came in and helped us with a lot of off-the-field cultural pieces. You see what he's done with his community service. I mean, just an all-around mentality and type of player that you want in your room. And he was able to mentor those young guys. It's been awesome having him.
Offensive lineman talk about how he does a little fist, how he's got it's a fist pound before plays. Or is that, how did that come about?
Man, that was him. He introduced it as something they did at the previous program he was at, and we kind of took it and kind of made it our own. Why were the reasons why we wanted to do it, and and the guys bought into it. And they don't buy into that unless they buy into the person that's bringing it. So if they didn't believe in him, they wouldn't believe in what he's saying. So by him establishing those relationships before he tried to just come in and institute things, that helped it out a lot.
How do you view it? Is this something just to get guys focused, or is that like what's the symbolism?
It's as simple as you're not out here by yourself. Whatever happened, move on. You know what I mean? And we're going to play this together. So it's basically like, hey, whatever happened, erase it. Let's move on to the next play because we out here and we got to execute. And you're not by yourself, man. I'm right here with you. Let's go do it together.
With how you have to be with AJ's wanting to redshirt him and how few games he can play in. I mean, it was the first time he played in quite a while. How about able to think that after being just practiced for so long, the game experience again was for him?
Well, yeah, man, the rules in college football have changed. We're able to play for guys 4 games where you can redshirt them, give them that little bit of experience. But we got some competitors. These guys want to play, and they want to play all the time. So we got to kind of protect them from themselves a little bit so they understand the opportunity to have that extra in your pocket if needed, or barring anything happen to you. So, he's a competitor, but it was good to get him out there and get him some real game experience. But no, anytime we can get guys out there, we keep account of how many games they played in so we can give them some action if necessary.
The FC has transfer window started today. I guess as a coach, like you're still in the middle of the regular season. How much attention can you pay to something?
I didn't even know that. So. I didn't know that. Sorry. Had a little deal going on this morning.
That's a good answer.
Florida's defense hasn't maybe played all that well this year, but they played really well against South Carolina, and then we saw what South Carolina did against them. What did they do particularly well against South Carolina, and how good can they be? What challenges do they
I'm pretty sure their coach is preaching the same thing. It ain't about the opponents. When we show up and be our best, we know what good football is. So it's the same way with us. We got to make sure it doesn't matter who you play. It's how you play in those moments against those opponents. Now, if you show up against one team and don't show up in the other, we attribute it to the team. And sometimes that's a little bit of the case, but mostly it's just you taking care of your business. So that's what I know. What I know is they're big, athletic. They got one of the biggest D-linemen in the country, if not the biggest to ever be out there and play D-line. And they got a linebacker that's a real one. And they got long ends. They're athletic. They can run. They can tackle. They play with a lot of passion. So we better strap up and be ready.
And Coach Norvell talked about maybe the team didn't handle emotions real well the last time you guys played this team in the Swamp. What kind of lessons have been learned since then, and what do you think you'll be able to see on Friday night to prove that they have learned those lessons?
Yeah, see, lessons are learned in moments. So basically, they were trying to go beat an opponent instead of be their best and really handle their own business. And you're hoping that lesson apply now. What we did last week don't matter for this week. So we got to make sure we keep that same kind of mentality and focus when we go in there and make sure we're executing at the highest level we can execute.
I think if you look at Coach Norvell's track record, his teams have a lot of success in November, both at Memphis and the last few years here. Is there something you look at with him or the coaches he surrounds himself with that you think that's the case?
That's him. He breathes the message, he breathes the culture, and he makes sure we understand what the expectation is here each and every day. So his mentality bleeds into the team, and it becomes a reflection of him because he bleeds consistency and things like that. So as the team goes, they consistently continuity start to build because he makes sure every day is independent. So today is all you have is what he preached, and then we worry about tomorrow. So he keeps that mentality and it's starting to show with him beating it in our faces, which is good.
What do you think in all things is successful, finding the right fits on the transfer portal, how they can develop, how to use?
Man, I think it's just trusting people around players, trusting coaches to give you their evaluation. Like what we look for is somebody to vouch for and say, hey, look, man, I know I watched the film, I know I seen the kid, I met the kid, but I need somebody to tell me, coach, no doubt, no brain, that trust and building those relationships. And also, man, it creates opportunity for some players. Some players didn't do well at some places and did well at others. Some people do good in one job and then go to another job, they're a whole different person. Some people in one relationship and one marriage, they go to another and they're a whole different person. So it's more of them finding opportunity and providing them everything they need to make the decision to be their best.
Rob Scott talked to us after the game saying he didn't know Mark Easton had that kind of catching for that touchdown. I remember talking to you in the preseason about, I mean, you being surprised maybe that he was kind of already ready for the role. What's it been like watching him kind of have that success this season?
Yeah, I forget how young he is, and he hadn't played a lot. You know, this is kind of his first season, kind of jumping out there and be a major role in the offense. He's still got a lot of ball left, but to see his development has been fun because he was a basketball guy. So he looks at the game of basketball, you know, so that probably was his moment. I told him after he caught the ball, I saw him taking selfies. I said, you know, the catch don't make you cute now. Calm down, man. But, he had a good time with it, man. It was fun.
You all good?